Well, I love New Orleans cooking. I spent a lot of years down there cooking. So a little different throw on a red bean dish. Instead of red beans with the traditional andouille sausage served together with rice, I'm going to do red beans with oxtail. And these are the ingredients. Not much more, except a little water, a couple of bay leaves. So we have the oxtail, the green pepper, the onion, the celery, garlic, and a little Cajun seasoning. Now usually when I use pepper, celery, and onion, that's the holy trinity, and garlic, even though that's 4 items in Cajun cooking. Usually if the peppers are 3 ounces, the onion would be 6 ounces. It just works out that way. First I cut the item, and then I weigh it, and it's always the same. Anyway, this is like all together in one pot, and you could soak the beans overnight. You don't have to soak the beans overnight. I've done it either way. But this is all been cooked together in one pot, because the length of time it takes for the beans is about the same length of time for the oxtail. So I'm expecting a nice, tasty dish. Especially, we're not using any kind of stock because we have the oxtail, which is going to put the flavor into the red beans. Normally I would use either a beef stock or a chicken stock, but not water. But today it's water because we have the flavor of the bones. First thing we're going to do is season the oxtail. So we're going to put some Cajun seasoning, like so, and put it on both sides, and then we're going to brown it in the oil. Over a moderate flame, not too hot. I don't want to smoke up the house, and it's not necessary. Just brown the pieces off a little bit. And the reason why I'm using this, I'm not browning them in another pot. I don't want to lose the flavor that it's imparting into all the flavor can be right there. Now we can get all of this is almost 2 pounds. It's a couple of ounces shy from 2 pounds of oxtail. So anywhere between 2 pounds and a few ounces less is just fine. Now this will take a few minutes. So what you want to do is just lightly brown, moderate flame, lightly brown it. We don't want to waste film doing this. That's all you have to do. And then we're going to take it out, put it back on the plate. Then we're going to saute the vegetables a little bit, then put everything together. Okay, as you see the color, lightly brown, that's good enough. We'll remove all of the oxtail, these little pieces, to be browned a little bit more. So while they're browning, no sense in wasting time, add all the vegetables, a fairly small dice. The garlic I just sliced. I like to see little pieces in there. And we'll sweat this up for a couple of minutes. Get the flavors out. Don't lose any pieces. Now I have washed the red beans. Sometimes I forget to wash them because you can find little, well, I just like to clean them off and pick through them. Sometimes you find little pebbles in there. I don't know how, but they're in there. That's pretty good. I hope I made a right choice with the size pot. I may down the road have to change this. And I'm just thinking, well, we're going to try it and see what happens. That's the beans. And the oxtail. Yeah, this will work. The beans will expand a little, not much. But the meat in itself might shrink a little, so. And we'll add just cover this up with cold water. As soon as this starts to boil, we cut it down to a simmer, and we'll add the if we need salt later, don't forget the meat was seasoned, so it's going to go into the beans. And we'll simmer this until it's done. That's it. How simple is that? Cover it up, wait till it boils, cut it down to a simmer, and we'll time. As you see, it's starting to boil now. We're going to cut it down to a simmer and time it. Oh, one more important item I forgot. We'll add scallions to the dish after it's cooked. So 3 hours later, the oxtail is tender and the beans are cooked. What do we do next? Well, we got to remove the oxtail because we want to make those beans creamy and not watery looking. In order to do that, we have to crush maybe 20% of them. And if you're going to serve this, usually it goes with rice. Now we just take a whip, just to break up some of the beans. Just take the whip and break some of them. This will give them a creamy mix. It won't look watery. Now we're going to cook it down alone for about 10 more minutes. Just because, as you can see, for the amount of beans, there's too much liquid. So we'll just cook it down, reduce it a little bit more. I kept the water level up, covering the beans as I was cooking them. Should have had just a drop less in there. But then again, this isn't bad. And then the next day, you could have refried beans. Forget about reducing it. After looking at this after 2 minutes, that's nice. Because you don't want dry beans on the plate with the rice. And now what I'm doing is just putting away the oxtail with the beans for dinner for either tomorrow or the next day. This will keep in the refrigerator for many days, no problem. There you go. Red beans with oxtail. A different slant on the dish.